You've often said in your talks that the Upanishads are mistermed. They're called philosophy, when actually they are not philosophy at all. Would you elaborate on that? That they're actually serious
I
science.
always emphasize, some people are surprised also, but I think maybe I am the speaker who has told this for the first time, announced it over the lectures everywhere, that they are the experimental scientists of our country who did thousands of years ago, who went into their inner realm and did all the experiments, whatever they have come to know through that as an experimental result, they have recorded in the Upanishads. The Upanishads are the record of the experiments done by our rishis in their internal realm. So it is just like in physics, as the experiment is done first and we find out the truth, and then we make some theory to explain the experiment. Like that in
Hmm. Ah,
spirituality also, as I am trying to explain things in various ways. I have not done in that. I have only done my experiment. When I started speaking, I have making up many things, many stories and models and all to explain what it is. But for me, it was just
yeah,
simple and, I mean, straightforward truth to discover it. And
straightforward.
it has to be a first hand discovery because it is a truth about my own
That's what.
self. So
That's the
it
tough
cannot be a
part.
second hand
That's the,
discovery. All other knowledge is
yeah.
secondary. In this case,
That's
it
right.
has to be
That's
a
right.
first hand discovery. That's a great difference with the other knowledges.
Yes, yes,
By
and that's
learning
what
a
makes
car,
it
you
so.
become. Hmm.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. You were sort of blessed on this journey because you have said that you were a natural born Vairagi. Emotions did not rule you, even when you were a child. And you credit part of it to your parents. You say that they were Vairagis themselves, and you talk about incidents from your childhood where you came back at midnight, sometimes from school after an event, and found that your parents were fast asleep, door was locked, while everybody else's parents were at the school asking, where is my son, where is my daughter? But your parents were fast asleep, and it used to annoy you in the beginning. But now you're grateful for that whole genes, the hereditary treasure of detachment that they gave to you. That's wonderful. But today's, I want to ask you this, Swamiji, on behalf of young people, I think, and on behalf of the parents of young people like myself. I've seen that in the last few years, this particular generation of young people, they are uh, they are not only not detached, they are deeply attached, not only to issues and people that surround them or occur in their orbit, but deeply emotional about injustices that happen anywhere in the world to people they don't know. So there's a deep compassion, like there's a deep river of compassion running in them, but it manifests as a lot of emotion and helplessness. They feel they cannot control what's going on. How do I help? As it's my responsibility as a good human being to help. How can you be so cold? That's what we hear as parents. You are so cold, you are so, not, they don't say detached, they use other words, like you're so disconnected from what is happening in the world. You are so happy just being in your little world of privilege, and you don't engage with the world. So in the Gita, Krishna is saying, be detached, be detached, be detached. And in fact, he tells Arjuna that if the more detached you are, the better you're able to do your work. So I want to ask you, what message do you have for these children, and how can detachment
In
actually
your
help you do your work better?
in your question, there are many questions involved. I don't know whether we have the time, but at least the most essential part I have to reply.
Yeah, please.
First of all,
Yes.
what the story of my parents, it does not fully explain the Vairagya part of it, but a strain of Vairagya I got from them. That is what we say. But they were not sannyasis; they had the proper way. Second thing, the most important thing is that Vairagya, I always translate in English as impersonality and impartiality. Impersonality and impartiality. I never use the word detachment there. Generally, because the word has come from raga means color. Raga means colorless. And you can also say raga means raga dvesha both. That is, raga
Yeah.
means clinging to what you like, and dvesha means hating what you dislike. So vairagya means not to have raga dvesha. The whole Bhagavad Gita is on that only, that not to how to get freed of the raga dvesha. Now, if we don't cling to what we like and we hate what I dislike, then what happens is that we can see things as they are, because our vision is always colored by our likes and dislikes. So vairagya is a quality which gives us clarity, which gives us a clear vision. And
Mm.
with that vairagya, everything will become clear. So you will not
Mm.
have the hindrance of your various colors, that me, mine,
Yeah.
others, selfishness, this, that, and all. They will not interfere with that. So you will be able
Mm.
to do everything much better. Now, the other side of it, that generally we think that people run away from the family because they are detached and they don't stay with the parents and go away because of detachment. It is just the opposite. Actually, a real sannyas is when you cannot stay in the smallness of a family, when the whole world becomes your own family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is really expressed in sannyasa. So
Mm.
when the whole world is you have embraced, you cannot be partial to anybody. You have to go out and you have to see. Unless you go out of your family life, nobody will come with their problems or the solutions they want. Many people, your mother may not like or your husband may not like, and they'll be, why are you allowing this person to enter our house? So many things will happen.
Right.
So
Yeah.
actually, a sannyasa, a real sannyasin, is a person who has embraced the whole world. Just like as just now I said that the consciousness or the Atma, it is actually the
Yeah.
whole world is appearing on that. How is it possible? It
Yeah.
is for the Vairagya of the Atma. The greatest Vairagyan we know of is our own identity, real identity. The Atma is the greatest Vairagyan because it doesn't get tinted by anything, tainted by anything, doesn't get modified by anything at all. It remains whatever it is. So more and more
Right.
our mind becomes Atma. It is not that we lose our sensitivity. Actually, it is a tremendous sensitivity. In Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, it says that when the sattva guna enhances in our personality, then sarvadvareshu prakasha upajayate jnanam yada. So forget about the gunatita level. That is the last, going beyond all the three gunas. But in even if we pursue the spiritual path so that the sattva guna enhances quite much, you will find that your sensitivity has grown tremendously. You will know what is happening here, there. Seeing a person, you will know what are the thoughts in his mind, what are the uh, sorrows one is having. Everything will be coming to light. So it is wrong to call that such a person will be stony or not compassionate. He will be much more
Mm-hmm.
compassionate, but because he is compassionate to all, he will not be partial.
Yeah.
In other cases, because our compassion is not for all, we are very partial. Is it
Yeah.
clear?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. I think we're getting to the end of time. So I want to ask you, how, if do you have any practical tips for how young people and people like us, everybody, can practice this impartiality? And is it good? What do you think? How did this kind of natural bent towards vairagya help you in your work before renunciation? And how young could you start? Any uh, any ways to do this while you're young,
Vairagya
so that
has helped in every field of my life, so to say, because it won't color my vision. That helps in everything. Particularly, I would like to say that it may not be so much vairagya. Even in meditation, our subject in this GBGC is mental harmony. Actually, the
I see.
real mental harmony is when there is no klesha. That means there is no internal clash between, say, our mind and intelligence. There is always clash going on. Emotional and intelligence, there is always what the
Yeah, yeah,
emotion
of
wants to
course.
do, the intelligence does. Always clashes going
Head
on.
and heart.
So the through knowledge and vairagya only the mind can attain that harmony. And this harmony is not only in the mind, then this harmony spreads to the external world also. So what happens is that even in my research work or so, I have found that which normally we would not have been able to do, it was done because of my absolute, what shall I say, again vairagya will come. That suppose we were handling some formulas and all, I never thought whether I am going to get PhD or not. I was not bothered about it.
Going to get
Whether I am going to get PhD or not, doctoral
PhD
thesis,
or not?
whether I am going to have the PhD or not was never in my mind at all. I was only handling the equations and looking for more and more harmony there. And in that process, that just dispassionately working on the to find out some harmony and beauty in mathematics and in nature and all, the solution simply came out. I never knew that the solution is coming in this manner. Same thing I have found, that those who practice a little meditation, forget about the knowledge. Even in the beginning, those who practice meditation to bring their mind into a mental harmony, it helps so much in work. You can do, at least if not in 1 hour, at least in 4 hours, you can do the work you do in 8 hours normally. Many of the things, the multitasking you can do, it is immense. Everything gets done and everything falls into place also. Suppose you have to meet somebody, you will find that the person has arrived and you are speaking. Normally we would have run to his house. By the time he has come to our house, then we fight with each other that I have come here and you have gone. That so much of time is wasted just like that. Here you think and it is become a real necessity. You find that it is already there, it is done. In many places we don't have to do what we are finally doing and finding that we have done the wrong thing.
Wow,
Automatically
that's
just
a
things
great.
will fall in that place. So that
If
harmony
you
comes
work with
through not
dispassion,
only through
harmony.
meditation, it comes very much through knowledge, pursuit of knowledge, which cleanses our mind and everything, the whole being. Purity is the thing we always emphasize for everybody. Don't read the scripture for learning the Upanishads or so. We always say that only utilize the Upanishads for becoming pure. That is, it should be the jnana sadhana, should be a sadhana for transforming into a pure being, for bringing in purificatory processes working in us. That we always emphasize everywhere.
So, would you say
If
that
people have
our
to,
biggest sorry, yeah, would you say our biggest responsibility to ourselves and the world is to achieve some harmony within ourselves? That's enough because that harmony will radiate out and
certainly.
embrace the world.
Yes, we have
Certainly,
to
yeah.
bring in the harmony within us. The outside, we don't have to. The world will remain the world, but for us, the world will become harmonious. I will end
Isn't
up with
that
a
selfish?
beautiful shloka.
Yeah.
Huh?
Isn't that a
Whether
bit selfish to focus on yourself? Is that like self-centeredness to say, I will
no,
focus
but
on
that
being
self is
harmonious?
universal, na. When you focus on the egoistic small self, all the trouble is there. But when you are
Ah,
focusing on the universal self, no problem is there. Everything will be getting solved.
okay. Thank you, Swamiji. You were going to say some story or something.
I was wanted to. Time is gone, I think. So one shloka in Yoga Vasishta, it says that uh, Upanad gudhapadasya nanucharmastritaiva bhuhu. The starting with Purne manasi sampurnam jagat sarvam sudhadravaihi. Upanat gudhapadasya nanucharmastritaiva bhuhu. He says Purne manasi sampurnam jagat sarvam sudhadravaihi. When the mind becomes full, this full, you should listen to my lecture on Brihadaranyaka, the Purna Mada Purna Midam. I myself listened to it and generally we appreciate whatever had come out. So it was a wonderful lecture, I thought, that I happened to listen. I never knew that it has been spoken or I have spoken about it. So that is the real meaning of Purnam. That means when there is no duality, that is the real Purnam. So he said that when the
Yeah.
mind becomes Purna, whole universe becomes Purna for him. It becomes Sudhadravaihi Purnam. It becomes nectarine. Why? Just like when we don't want to get our feet dusty by walking over the earth, What do? Are you going to cover the whole earth with a leather? We put on a leather shoe and go anywhere we go. The dust doesn't
Mm.
touch our feet at all. Upanad gudha nanu charma stritaiva bhuhu. The whole earth we don't have to cover with the leather at all. So it is like that. We have to only do our part, and whatever comes out, it
Beautiful,
will
beautiful.
take its own way.
That is so lovely. I shall remember this, Swamiji. Thank you so much for a lovely discussion. Again, it was a great honor, very humbling to be part of this. Very grateful. Thank you so much.
For your questions also, it always depends on the questions, and I think we should thank the viewers also, because they play the real part. Otherwise the truth will not come out of our mouth. So everybody has got their role, although they are not seen. It has a role. So we are all happy
Yes.
with that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.